Welcome to Yosemite National Park. It's so good to be back. This video is all about Horsetail Falls. If you don't know what Horsetail Falls is, you may also know it as a firefall, even though it's technically not a firefall. And basically, here's a little history lesson just to get you up to speed.
So back in 1872 at the Mountain House Hotel, which was at the top of Glacier Point, on the 4th of July, they would burn a bonfire and then push the embers 1,400 feet off of Glacier Point down towards the valley, which would create this firefall effect. And people would pay $1.50 a head to view this. And this then became a daily event happening at 9 p.m. every day from the early 20th century until 1968, when it happened for the last time. So that's the firefall, because this was actual burning embers being pushed off of Glacier Point, actually making it a firefall. And that name has really stuck. But what we see now is actually Horsetail Falls getting illuminated by the sun because of the position of the sun. And this happens just for a couple of weeks every February, as long as the conditions are there. What we see now is Horsetail Falls, which is a waterfall that only really runs during the late winter into early spring, when there's been heavy snow just off El Capitan. So this is a temporary waterfall that looks like a horse's tail. And when the sun hits it at the right angle in that winter time, it does create this image, this phenomenon that looks like lava flowing, but it's not actually fire, it's just light. And that's what you would see now if you went to see the Firefalls at Yosemite.
This next section is all about access and reservations and what you need to know before your visit. So over the last few years, the numbers have increased for people coming to see Horsetail Falls or Firefall, and this has caused a lot of damage to the meadows around. There are literally thousands of photographers desperate to get the best shot, and even in the snow, they'll pile up on the sides of the meadows. So over the last few years, Yosemite has designated certain areas that cannot be used during Horsetail Falls, so certain places where you should not go and stand, or you cannot go and stand. And there's also some restrictions on access for parking and things like that as well, although they do run some extra shuttle services. So do bear this in mind when you're planning your spot that you're going to stake out. There are requirements for you to have a day-use reservation, a bit like the ticketed entry that they've had in the past few summers. Now, these are only on weekends and holidays during February, so the rest of the time you don't need to worry about this. But if you are planning on going on a Saturday, a Sunday, or on one of the public holidays, you will need to get yourself a day-use reservation. It's really easy to do. You simply head over to recreation.gov and you can search for Yosemite National Park in the search bar, and then you will find the ticketed entry section, which is the one that you're going to need. Now, these sell out really quickly, so I recommend that you create an account before you go, and then that way all your information and card details are loaded in so that you can check out as quick as possible when you've secured your tickets. So anyway, you need to go to Yosemite National Park ticketed entry, and we're going to give this a click. And then you can see Horsetail Falls ticketed entry. Now, in previous years, there would have been different kinds, but because this is the only ticketed entry required at the moment, this is all that's going to be there on the site. So you press book now, and you select the date for when you want to visit. Now, you can see the NR are the ones not released, the blue are the ones that are released. The other dates, you don't need one. So you put in whether it's a motor vehicle or a motorbike, and then proceed. Now, it's just open, so it's very popular. So you're going to get this message, thanks for your patience. And this will go around 5 cycles while they try to secure your tickets for you. They do award them on a first come, first served basis. But obviously you want to be ready to go as soon as the clock changes to 8 a.m. to secure these. So you can see it's updated with a message to say there's a high volume of ticket requests right now. But success. So I'm now ready to press proceed to cart and make my payment. All my details are already loaded in there because I've already got that account set up. Once you have got tickets secured, you can just open the Recreation Gov app and go to view tickets, and it'll generate this QR code that you'll need to show upon entry into the park.
In Yosemite can be harsh and the driving conditions can be quite sketchy, so make sure You've either got all-wheel drive or snow chains if you want to enter the park, because you could be restricted if the snow is bad. Check out my Winter in Yosemite video on this channel with loads of top tips on how to access the park in bad weather conditions in winter.
How do you play?
If you don't go now, they can't go now. And now, hey guys, come
Be sure to check in at the visitor center when you arrive, because they have these really informative boards which tell you all about the odds of seeing Firefall on that particular night. It tells you where to go, how to get there, the weather conditions, the temperature, all that kind of good information. And those information boards are at all visitor centers within the park. There's also this chart which tells you for that particular year the date, the time that they think it's going to start and the time they think it's going to end, and the probability of seeing Firefall. In terms of getting around the park as well, don't forget that they've got the fantastic shuttle service back now after a break during COVID. It's got new routes, so there's a green loop that does the entire loop of Yosemite Valley, and then you also have the purple loop, which is a smaller section on the I think it's on the east side of the valley. Now, this new route has a new map, so stops 8, 9 and 10 are the ones that will be the best viewing area, because obviously that's nearest to El Capitan and Horsetail Falls. I went to the El Capitan picnic area to set up for my trip, and I found that to be a really good spot. But if you want to have more of a view of the surrounding cliffs and mountains, I would definitely go over to the other side and get off at stop 10. But just remember, it fills up really quickly, so arrive early if you want to nab a good spot. So here is Horsetail Falls.
So I'm finally here at a spot where I'm hoping to see the Firefall tonight. As I was coming up from Curry Village, there was loads of people, like hundreds of people, all camped out basically. This is actually like a quiet area with these people behind me, and you can see they've all got their blankets, chairs and stuff. But everyone's like trying to stake out the best place. It's not actually due to happen for another 45 minutes, but it's already pretty packed out. So the falls is just up here, so you can just about see the water coming off the edge. It's really faint. It's not actually that much, but I can see why in low snow years there's literally no water. And I've got my camera all set up, so I'm literally just hoping that I'm gonna catch this, because I don't think I'll be coming again to do it. So yeah, but I'm hoping because there's other people here, it must be a good spot, because they wouldn't come here otherwise, especially if they've done it a few times. So fingers crossed.
I found it to be absolutely freezing, and it did dip below the freezing mark quite early on in the evening. So make sure you bring blankets, layers, a woolly hat, a hot drink, and maybe even a chair to sit on too.
So it's now 11 minutes past 5, and the sun is due, well, the effect is expected at 23 minutes past 5. So you can see there's a lot more people now gathering around, not just here, but like in lots of different spots where you can view it. So this is just one of many like posses of people basically. It's pretty bad further back, and you can see also further down there's a lot of people as well. You definitely want to get here early if you want to have a good spot, and I think I wish I took like a camp chair and a blanket, because it's really, really cold, and I've got loads of layers on, but I mean some of the people haven't even got that. But you can see that as it's getting closer and closer, the window of light is moving closer and closer from either side, and I'm guessing that obviously what's going to happen is the light's going to get thinner and thinner and thinner until it's only on Horsetail Falls. But it's looking good so far, so I'm hoping for good success. So there's definitely a little bit more happening now. You can tell everybody's like waiting. definitely like a sense of everybody being really anticipating this. It's got a little bit quieter as people are like, you can just tell, like eagerly hoping it all is gonna work out. Sorry about that awful angle though. I've actually got my phone just there balancing on an Nalgene, and that's going to be my time-lapse video.
I should probably point out at this point that these cars that are parked in front here, this is a handicap parking only, so this is not a parking lot that anybody can use.
Hopefully any second now. Not looking good. The sun's gone down and people are starting to leave. So I don't know if this has been a bit of a fail.
But just like so many people before me had said, you really need to wait until the sun is pretty much out of the sky, and then you will get that orange effect. There's no guarantees, it all is about angle, cloud cover further down in the Central Valley. So it's very hit and miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I was really lucky that I got to see some awesome colour on Horsetail Falls. But yeah, good luck to you. I hope it all works out. And let me know below how your Horsetail Falls experience was.
But I'll be alright with you by my side, 'cause it's a cold night. We drive till the light shines bright in our eyes, a cold night.